1 billion people use Google Maps every month, and almost every one of them has had that moment, approaching a complicated junction, staring at the phone, and having absolutely no idea which of the 5 roads on screen is the one they are actually on. Google just fixed that. The problem that has existed since navigation apps began.
Taken a wrong turn because the map on the phone didn't match the road outside? Around 1 billion people use Google Maps every month, but confusing intersections still cause mistakes. Now, Google Maps just released a new 3D navigation system, and it might completely change the way driving directions work.
Navigation apps have improved enormously over the past decade. Real-time traffic, predictive rerouting, lane guidance, speed limit awareness. The software layer is genuinely sophisticated, but one fundamental problem has persisted across every update and every version. At the moment of arrival at a complex intersection, the map on the screen and the road outside the windshield often look nothing like each other. The reason is structural. Roads in the real world are three-dimensional. Flyovers pass above surface roads. Tunnels run underneath them. Multiple highways stack on top of each other at major junctions. A single complex interchange can involve roads operating at 3 or 4 different vertical levels at the same time. What navigation apps have historically shown is a flat 2-dimensional representation of all of those levels projected onto the same plane. A tangle of overlapping lines that can be described as a bowl of noodles at the most complex points. Drivers approaching these junctions slow down to decode the screen. They hesitate to decide which level they are on and which road is theirs. Sometimes they guess wrong. The estimated time of arrival jumps by 10 minutes. The journey that was going smoothly now requires a U-turn and a rebuilt route. This is the most common navigation failure, and it has nothing to do with the route chosen or the traffic data. It is a visual mismatch problem. The representation does not match reality. What Google changed and how it works. Google's solution is a completely redesigned navigation view that displays roads in 3 dimensions, showing the actual vertical structure of road systems rather than collapsing them onto a flat surface. Flyovers appear elevated above the roads they cross. Tunnels appear as underground paths rather than lines cutting through buildings. Multi-level interchanges show each level separately, so drivers can immediately see which layer their route follows. The practical effect at a complex junction is significant. Instead of looking at overlapping lines and trying to determine which one applies to them, a driver approaching an overpass can see instantly that their route passes underneath it rather than turning onto it. Instead of decoding a confusing stack of roads at a multi-level highway split, the 3-dimensional display separates each level clearly. The question of which road is yours becomes visually answerable in a fraction of a second rather than requiring several seconds of interpretation. The design philosophy behind this update is as important as the technology. The Google Maps team described their goal explicitly as removing information rather than adding it. Most navigation failures do not happen because drivers lack information. They happen because they receive too much information at once and cannot process it fast enough at driving speed. The new system focuses on showing only what is relevant at that specific moment: the road layer the driver is on, the turn approaching, the structure of the junction ahead. Everything else is filtered out. Artificial intelligence drives this capability by analyzing satellite imagery, street view photography, and road data to understand the physical structure of real intersections, identifying which roads pass above others, where tunnels run, and how elevation changes interact with navigation routes. The output is a more accurate 3-dimensional model of actual roads rather than a schematic representation. Landmarks. Terrain and tunnel improvements. The 3-dimensional road display is the headline change, but 3 other improvements come with it that address different aspects of the same core problem. The first is landmark-based directions. Traditional navigation instructions give distance: turn left in 200 meters. In practice, 200 meters at driving speed is ambiguous. It could mean immediately, soon, or just past that junction. Landmark-based directions replace the distance with a reference to something the driver can actually see from the road: a known business, a recognizable building, or a visible structure near the turning point. This mirrors how people give directions naturally when asked in person. Nobody says turn left in 200 meters. They say turn left just past the petrol station. Google Maps is replicating that natural navigation style because it is genuinely more useful in practice. The second is terrain elevation. Cities built on hills, Seattle being a clear example used in Google's own demonstration, present navigation challenges that flat maps cannot represent properly. A road that curves around a hillside, slopes downward sharply, or rises unexpectedly over a ridge reads very differently on a three-dimensional display than on a flat map. The new terrain visualization makes the actual topography of the route part of the navigation display, helping drivers understand the physical shape of the road ahead rather than just its direction. The third is tunnel clarity. Previous versions of Google Maps showed tunnels as lines passing straight through whatever buildings happened to be above them, technically accurate but visually confusing because it looked like the road was cutting through solid structures. The updated system shows tunnels as distinct underground paths, clearly separated from the surface road network, clearly highlighted as the main route when the driver is inside one, and clearly showing where the tunnel emerges. The real-world test. Seattle A&D what the data shows.
Early testing of the 3D navigation system has already shown positive results. Drivers using the new interface miss fewer turns and complete their trips with fewer navigation errors. That makes sense when the map closely matches the real-world environment. Less confusion means quicker decisions, and quicker decisions lead to smoother driving. Instead of overwhelming drivers with too much information, the system now focuses on showing only what matters at that moment.
Google demonstrated the new navigation system on the roads of Seattle, a city chosen because it is genuinely difficult to navigate. Complex interchanges, steep terrain, tunnels, and multi-level road systems are all present in high density to test the system properly. The team noted that their chosen route covered every challenging maneuver type: underpasses, steep grades, tunnels, and multi-lane splits. The specific moment highlighted in the demonstration was an approach to an overpass where the route did not require any turn. The driver simply continued underneath the structure. In the old flat view, this situation was often confusing because the overpass appeared as overlapping roads with no clear indication of which level applied. In the new three-dimensional view, the driver can see immediately that the route passes under the overpass. No turn required, no ambiguity. Google's internal testing shows clear improvement. Drivers using the three-dimensional navigation miss fewer turns and report higher satisfaction at the end of their journeys. The result is simple. Fewer missed turns means fewer reroutes, fewer added minutes, and a smoother overall experience. The goal is not to make the map look impressive. It is to make sure the driver barely has to think about it at all. How to turn it on right now. The feature is already available for eligible users.
AI helps analyze satellite imagery, street view, and road data to build these more detailed maps. The good news is you can actually try this today. Open Google Maps and in the top right-hand corner, tap on your profile picture. Then go to Settings, then Navigation Settings, and switch to the 3D driving experience.
If you are on an iPhone 13 Pro or newer, and you're in eligible metro areas, you'll be able to go in and turn this on and get access to it.
After driving around Seattle today, the biggest difference is how closely the map now matches what you actually see on the road.
This is no longer just a map. It's slowly becoming a digital version of the real world for drivers. The good news is that this feature is already available for some users. Google is expected to expand support to more regions and devices over time. So if the option is not visible yet, it may arrive soon. At first glance, a new map design might sound like a small upgrade. Navigation apps help millions of drivers daily, but confusing junctions and wrong turns still happen. The new 3D navigation in Google Maps fixes this by making the map match the real road with visible layers, tunnels, terrain, and landmarks.
Open Google Maps and tap your profile picture in the top right corner. Go to Settings, then Navigation Settings, and look for the toggle labeled 3D Driving Experience. Switch it on, and the new navigation view activates immediately. Current availability is strongest on iPhone 13 Pro or newer models and in supported metropolitan areas. Google is expanding device and regional support over time, so users who do not see the option immediately can expect it in future updates. The AI system powering the feature, based on Gemini, analyzes satellite imagery and street view data to build detailed, three-dimensional road models for each region. 1 billion drivers. One flat map. One fundamental visual mismatch between the screen and the road. Google's three-dimensional navigation update is not a cosmetic change. It is a complete rethink of what a map should do. not show everything, but show exactly what matters at the exact moment it is needed. Drop a comment telling us if confusing junctions have ever cost you time and how often it happens. Check the end screen for more technology updates waiting for you.